ASML and TSMC have ways to disable the world's most sophisticated chip-making machines should China invade Taiwan. Now, we're joined by Bloomberg's Tom McKenzie, who has all of the details. Tom, I mean, This is a huge piece of news. This is through really months of Bloomberg trying to figure out exactly what was going on. What have we learned from the scoop?
Yeah, absolutely. Painstaking reporting from the teams in the Netherlands and the US as well, confirming this. So essentially, this is a kill switch that would be applied to these ASML machines, these extreme ultraviolet lithography machines that process and produce and are essential to the production of the most sophisticated chips that TSMC, that makes the biggest foundries over in Taiwan, is dependent on. And TSMC is the biggest buyer of these EUVs that are made and produced by ASML. This coming out as a result of pressure from the US, concerns amongst US officials that should China invade Taiwan, they might get access to these highly sophisticated machines and be able to push up in terms of their production abilities. The Netherlands has been, by the way, gaming out what would happen and testing out the risk scenarios in that kind of event. And again, ASML, TSMC assuring these officials in the US that they have this ability to remotely shut down these machines.
I mean, the remote, shut off really feels like a bit of a James Bond film. What does it mean for US-China relations?
Yeah, I mean, these are highly sophisticated machines. They're made up of thousands of different components. You actually need engineers in these clean rooms, in the spaces where they operate, to check in on them every couple of months anyway. If one component goes missing or needs to be upgraded, that's a problem for the machine. Now they have this ability, they say, to remotely shut them down. It points really to the urgency with which the US is looking at this as a risk factor. It underscores just how concerned they are about China getting hold of these most sophisticated machines. China already has access to some of the older ultraviolet lithography machines, and we've seen Huawei being able to produce very sophisticated chips for their smartphones. The concern for US officials is that not so much the smartphone industry, it's whether those chips end up in the sophisticated missile systems of China and the PLA, and clearly that's where their focus is in. Some US officials, by the way, generals within the military in the US, have suggested that China could be prepared to invade Taiwan by 2027. So clearly there is urgency behind this.
But, Tom, I mean, does this come from the US side? We also know that the company is expecting as much as 15% of the year's sales to China will be affected by the latest kind of tight chip, right, on some of these export controls.
China is still a major market for ASML. They are still able to sell into the Chinese market a number of their legacy ASML machines, lithography machines, but not the most cutting-edge extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. But by the way, ASML is the only producer of in the world. They're the only company that makes these. They were banned from selling those last year. And you're right, it's not just the US. Washington's managed to persuade the Netherlands and Japan to get on board with some of these restrictions as well.